So now we're going into part 3. And this is talking about the most recent person that I live with. And going into, this is like my internship. When I started back on my YouTube, I started YouTube when my freshman year of college, but then I stopped because of some technical issues. And then I started back again around this time. So going into my internship, like I said, I've been wanting to live alone for a while. Going into my internship, that was my plan, to get my own apartment and live my best life. And that didn't happen because my internship was in a really rural area that only had 2 apartment complexes, and one wasn't that nice, and they were both low income. I really didn't care about the low income part, but both the apartments had no vacancies. And there wasn't really, the homes weren't really renting, so I kind of had no choice but to rent a house with her, which was like, I didn't really enjoy it. There was like the housing part made it a little stressful, like trying to find housing. But once I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna just live with her, I thought it was gonna be fine, you guys. Like, it was the biggest headache of my life. Like, I'm getting so frustrated just thinking about it. Like, y'all don't understand how happy I was to move out. Like, once it got closer and closer to my move out date, on my calendar I started crossing out the days, you guys. Like, I was so happy to leave that house. It was so bad. It was so bad. And the crazy part was, like I said, I wanted my own place. I wanted my own apartment. It was never my original plan to live with her, but she wanted a roommate. She is the one who wanted a roommate. Okay, you guys. So like I said, she wanted a roommate because she's moving to a new place and, you know, doesn't want to be alone, want to have someone that at least she knows, which is fine. So she goes to go look at the house first. There was a lot of things wrong with this whole scenario. Like, other than my internship itself, other than the place that I worked itself, I had roommate issues, I had housing issues, landlord issues. It was in a rural area, which I knew before moving there. I knew that about my internship, but living in a rural area is just not for me personally. So there's that aspect. There was nothing to keep me busy, nothing for me to do. I was alone a lot of the time, and like, it was just not a great place for me. So yeah, so she went to go look at the house first, and then I went to go look at the house separately from her, like a week later or something. And so I met the landlord or whatever, and he went to go show me another property, you know, just to get some options. I hated the second property. The second property was not in good shape at all. But I told him, I was like, okay, so I'll fill out how do I fill out the application, the renter's application and everything. He was like, oh, I like to do everything through one person. So and so had already filled out the application, so you don't have to. I'm gonna just do everything through that other person. I didn't like that at all, but he is very old school. He accepted the rent through either cash or check. Just very old school, like all together. So yeah, just a couple of landlord issues on that. And my thing also was, it never happened, thank God. But my thing was like, okay, like, well, if we get into some disagreement or anything, everything's in her name. Can she just kick me out? And legally, no, she can't just kick me out. But like, that was my thing. I'm like, everything's in her name. The house, the utilities, everything. Like when I went to go pay my rent, I would have to give my money, send my money to her for her to give to the landlord. When I came to pay the utilities, I basically was paying her. Like, the landlord referred to me as so-and-so's roommate. Like, which I was, but like, it, to him, it wasn't like our house. It was like her house that I was living in. So yeah, that never settled right with me, and that's not how she viewed it. Or I mean, it is and it isn't, because yes, like everything was her name, so like for her, like yeah, it was her house that I was living in, but like she viewed me as a roommate, and I like pray to God she viewed me as an equal, but like who knows what was going on in her head as well. And also before I really get into the nitty-gritty, I would like to say that in the beginning, she knew I had a dog, and she knew that my plan was to like live with my dog. Like, it's my dog. Like, yeah, I'm gonna live with my dog. And the landlord didn't want a dog on that property specifically. That's why he took me to the second property, which I hated. But I sent him like an email, or I didn't email him, I called him, but I did like type everything out and discussed it with him, and eventually he allowed my dog to live at the property with me and put my dog on the lease and everything. Thank goodness, because prior my dog was just staying at my parents, and I kind of just dumped my responsibility, my dog, onto my parents, which I did not like, because you know, my dog, my responsibility. Of course I want to live with my dog, take care of my dog, it's my dog. Anyways, so from the beginning, she knew that I had a dog. She knew that I was going to live with my dog. She knew that was the plan. And there was like a little bump in the road with the landlord. And she's had a dog before, you know? So once the landlord had agreed to allow my dog onto the property, I didn't ask, like, I didn't say this to like ask for her permission. I just said it like just because, like, out of curiosity, you know. I was excited, like, oh, I was like, so how do you feel about my dog coming? Oh, by the way, she met my dog when we moved in, when I moved in, sorry. We did move in on the same day, but she met my dog when I moved in, because we just decided to bring the dog with us. She met my dog before, and you know, so I was happy that my dog was coming, and I was like, so how do you feel about my dog, you know, coming? And she was like, well, I don't know, because the house is in my name. And my face went, and I ignored her comment, and I continued, because frankly, it didn't matter. I was gonna bring my dog anyways. Because she never had an issue with it until the house was in her name. So that's why I said, like, that's why I said, like, I think she did have a little bit of like, oh, this is my house, like, mentality. But like, I'm hoping that at least she viewed me as somewhat of an equal, and that isn't even the beginning of it. Like, that was not even the beginning of it. That was just one little, like, just one little thing. And at that point, we were still somewhat getting along. Like, not somewhat getting along, but like, you know, we were good at that point, you know. So it really all started like right away. As soon as we moved in, issues. Like, it was insane, like quite insane. As soon as we moved in, issues. So we moved in on the 4th of July weekend. So like, it was just us in a new town, didn't know anybody else. So I was like, hey, like, do you, for the 4th of July, do you want to go to the beach? Like, you know, offering to like spend some time with her, get to know her. Actually, let me back up. So like I said, she saw the house first, and then I went to go see the house, and I told her about the second property he showed me. I told her that I didn't like it, blah 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 blah. So my internship, we have like a training institute. It's basically, it's training before we start an internship. It's like lectures, it's like paperwork, it's introducing us to the internship, introducing us to the organization. We all get to meet the other people in the internship, all that stuff. It's like a 2-week thing. It's actually pretty fun, really nice. So yeah, and that's why I was like traveling a lot, also not a lot, but like when I would go to like other cities last year, that's what I was doing. I would call it like a work conference or whatever. But yeah, so before you start, you have like a big training institute, and so that I was talking to her about like the properties at the training institute. This is when we had confirmed that we were gonna live together. This was also our first time meeting. Yes, this is also our first time meeting. And she said to me at the house that we were about to live in, she said to me like, oh, I was surprised. And like the people that were living there before us are in the same program that we're in. They're just exiting the program and we're entering the program. So we just like are moving into their home. Or they're renting, by the way. Like, we never own the home, just to clarify. It's all the landlord's home we're renting. But she was like, yeah, I was really surprised about how messy the house was. Granted, y'all, these people are in the middle of moving out. So when she said that, like talking negatively about somebody else, I was taken back. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, like, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt because they're in the middle of moving. Like, I was like so shocked that she would even like speak negatively about someone she doesn't even know or never even met. Or I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, I mean, if you saw my moving video, yeah, the house was a little chaotic when I was in the middle of like packing everything up and organizing and moving stuff, and like I try to make it less chaotic as possible, because I do not like a cluttered space, but like it happens when you're moving. And so, and they really didn't have that much stuff. Like, yes, their rooms were a little bit cluttered, but that's their room. And remember this when I tell you guys about some other stuff that she did, because karma, you guys, remember this, karma, or not even karma, just, what's the word, hypocrite. She is one of the biggest hypocrites I have ever met. Like, the hypocrisy was insane. So like I said, so basically things like, I mean, it wasn't negative. Like, I was, you know, I just met her, you know, I thought that was a little weird that she made that comment, but I didn't, you know, assume like that she was a negative person just from that comment, you know. Like, I just met her, I barely know her, so I wasn't gonna judge her for that until later. And so we move in or whatever, and the next day or the day of we go grocery shopping, because I'm just the type of person where I just like to get stuff done, right? Move in, get mostly settled, get groceries, you know, like get started. We were also starting our internship like 3 days after we moved in, and my mentality was, which is the wrong mentality, or not the wrong mentality, but just the wrong idea, I guess. It's just like we can just go grocery shopping together, you know, share groceries. She said that she likes to cook. We can like rotate cooking, you know, just do what she wanted and have a roommate that she could know and spend time with. And I'm not saying like I'm saying do as she wanted, as to like point out. I'm not just like doing it just because like I was like, okay, yeah, like we can, like my thought process is like, yeah, we can become friends, like hang out, whatever, etc, etc. So we went grocery shopping together. She has like a lot of food allergies or whatever, so the grocery shopping idea wasn't really gonna work anyways. But like we did go grocery shopping together, and I cooked dinner. I made fried rice. It was either, I think it was the next day after we went grocery shopping, and I made fried rice and I offered her some, and I cooked dinner, I offered her some, we ate or whatever, and I had went out of town, and when I was coming back, I was only gone for like 2 days, and I came back and I was like, it was a 3-hour drive, and the whole drive, you know, I got hungry eventually, and for like the last half of my drive, I was like, oh, I can just come home and eat the little bit of the fried rice that I made, eat my leftovers, and like, cool, you know. So I come in the house, I'm hungry, I just been on a 3-hour drive, and I put my stuff down, wash my hands, go into the kitchen, open the door, open the fridge, and I'm like looking, I don't see my food, I close it, I'm like, did I eat it all? I was like, did I finish my food and forget? I open it again, and she's in the kitchen. I open it again, she's washing dishes, and I look at her and I go, I was like, I look at her and I go, do you know where my food is? She was like, oh, I just threw it away. And it takes me everything that I have not to lose my crap, like not to just like yell at her. And so I close the fridge. I'm hungry. Now I'm hangry. I am highly upset at this point. And I'm not thinking rational at this point either. So now I have to, one, I have not gotten paid yet. We just started this internship. I haven't gotten paid yet. Don't have any money. I'm just like, I've been spending money moving, preparing for the move. Like literally bought this furniture set, like right? Just spent money on groceries that she just threw away. And so now I have to spend more money that I don't have on food because she just threw away my food. So I am fuming, right? I don't say anything to her. Leave the house, go get food, come back, and I say, I don't remember if I said this. Actually, I don't remember if I said this before I left or after I left and got food. But I said to her, I said, please don't do that again. I said, she was like, well, it's been there for a while and I didn't know. She was like, it's been there for a while and I didn't want it to go bad or something like that. It wasn't there for a while. But I told her, I said, well, if it had gone bad, I would have thrown it away. But next time, I need you to ask before you just throw away my food, okay? I said what needed to be said. And you know what I think about her throwing away my food is, and saying that she didn't want it to go bad? The irony of that is, what made me more mad, what just like did, like I said, what started it off for me, I don't know about her, and I don't even think like she really had an issue with me per se, but it's just a lot of the things that she was doing, it just didn't make sense. And so I just didn't really mesh with her. We also didn't mesh because she's just a quiet person, and she would just stay in her room a lot, which is fine. But like I would even like, it's not, and I also offered, like, you know, I was like, hey, do you want to like have a movie night or order pizza or like have a game night or whatever? And she would always say no. And so I stopped asking and I just stayed to myself. But yeah, we never really became friends. But the point, so it all started for me when she threw away my food. And what made it worse is what preceded that. She had made something, right? And she had put leftovers away, which is like she'd cooked, she put the rest away in the fridge. Those containers stayed in the fridge for 9 months. Both of those containers grew mold because, you know, I would open the fridge and I would look and I'm like, okay, those containers are still there. Those containers are still there. Those containers are still there. After about 5 months, I finally I didn't even open them. Actually, that's a lie. I did open them, but this was 5 months after, or I don't even know it. But it was much after, okay? Like I said, I'm gonna also say this, like I would never invade someone's privacy. I would never like touch someone else's things, but these containers were in there for a while. And they were glass containers, so the first thing I did was look under them. And I was like, oh, these are moldy. And like, out of curiosity, then I opened them just to see how much mold was in there. And they were very, very, very moldy. And I didn't say anything to her. I just waited and to see how long it would take for her to throw those away. Those were in there for 9 months. When we first moved in, my food was in there for 2 days. And she threw it away. But after 9 months, I need a moment because y'all, this is making me mad. This is making me mad. But yeah. So what I've noticed is she did a lot of things and she'd forget about it. Whether it be food or whatever, she was just very forgetful. And I just noticed that with like food mostly, because she didn't really have anything else around the house per se. Like I said, she mostly stayed in her room. I decorated most of the house. When she first moved in, I was learning a little bit about her. This is when she was not much of a talker. She's an introvert. She does stay to herself, so she didn't really do much talking. It was literally like that first day that we moved in, and basically that was it. Or I want to say that week maybe. But I did learn about her. Her family does move a lot. Her dad, for her dad's job, said that her parents don't really decorate their home, but they kind of just have furniture and that's it. Like she said, there's like no pictures on the wall or anything. So like she's not used to decorating, and I wanted to feel homey. Like I said in the beginning, I never wanted to have a roommate. I wanted my own space, so I was gonna make this make that home feel as comfortable as possible for me. And I didn't go over the top, but I also didn't stay in my room the whole time. I would eat in the kitchen, she ate in her room. I would watch TV in the living room. Like I simply couldn't just stay in my room the whole time. Not when I rent a whole house. It's not like I'm in a dorm or, you know, renting a room. Like I'm renting a whole house. I don't know, that's just me. I just can't stay cooped up in a room like that. So yeah, and she's, as far as like kitchen wise, the kitchen was bigger than my previous apartment, but you know, you still have to be conscious of space, and she wasn't. But I don't think it's because she wasn't conscious of space, she just wasn't organized. So like I said, trying not to touch other people's stuff, but also trying to make room for myself. I would like organize as much as I can without like touching all of her stuff. Like she would take up most of the cabinet, most of the fridge. Like she would just have her stuff everywhere, and it just took up a lot of space where I felt like I couldn't buy groceries, or when I did buy groceries, like I felt like I had nowhere to put them. So I told her, and this was like somewhat because of space and also because I just simply couldn't reach. So I said, okay, well, to make it like easier, you can have the top shelf and I'll have the bottom shelf. And this went for the cabinet and the fridges. Or I said fridges, the fridge. So that way, like I kept my shelves organized, and like, you know, we just didn't have her things everywhere. She had her things, she didn't organize them, and that's fine. But, and I knew, like, I had all my food in a normal, like, we didn't have a pantry in the house. And so think about a normal size cabinet. I fit all of my like snacks, all of the like dry food, like cans, whatever, into one shelf. And I like to buy groceries for a whole month, and I fit everything into one shelf. Some way, somehow, she couldn't do that, and it was because her things just simply weren't organized. And I like, not everyone is the same. I get that. Another thing is, I would find her hair in the fridge. That's nasty. Okay. So yeah, and so after like the second time, I don't remember what I did the first time. I don't know if I removed it or if I think I removed it. I think I like took a picture. I really don't remember what I did. But yeah, it was either the second time or the hair was still there or something. I don't really remember, but I eventually told her, and she looked flabbergasted. Like her eyes were wide, like it looked like her jaw had hit the floor, like she was shocked, like she looked almost insulted. And all I simply said was like, hey, I found your hair in the fridge, like, you know, could you try not to do that? Or I don't remember what I said after that, but I know for sure I said, hey, I found your hair in the fridge, blah blah blah. And she was just like amazed. And so yeah, I don't know what else to say about that really. I would also find her hair like all over the sink. We share a bathroom. That was another thing about the house. It was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So we did share a bathroom. And in my apartment previous, it was a 4-bedroom apartment, but we each had our own bathroom. And the only other person I shared a bathroom was my sister. But it's my sister, so if she didn't clean up after herself, I would just be like, hey, clean the bathroom, you know, and she would do the same to me. But like living with another person, you have to be delicate about that, and not try to be rude or whatever about that. And She has never had to share anything. She's an only child, so she's not, I'm sure she wasn't used to that. But yeah, she would wash her hair in the mornings, and I guess like the wet hair would stick to the sink. Just clean it up. She would also, like, hair would collect in the drain, and like it had gotten so bad that the water would, you know, like the drain would get clogged, and so the water would collect when you take a shower, and the water came up to my ankles, which is gross. And I think I was like waiting for her to like notice and cleaning up. Like, I didn't say anything, but I think I got out of the shower one day and I just got so frustrated and I just did it myself. But after I took all of the hair out, I was literally disgusted. I didn't touch it, by the way. I used something else to take it out, but I was so disgusted. Like while doing it, like I was like gagging, because like if it was my hair, you know, it's my hair, but it's someone else's hair, like that's nasty. And I mean, it's nasty regardless, but still it's like disgusting. And so I took a picture of it and I sent it to her, because she, like I said, like when I mean she always stayed in her room, she always stayed, well, yet again, I just got out the shower and I was in a towel, so I wouldn't want her to come in the bathroom anyways, but she always stayed in her room. And like if she has, even when we were in the same house, if she needed to tell me something, she would text me, and I thought that was weird. If I needed to ask her something or tell her something, I would just go to her door and knock. And one time I went to her door and I knocked because I think I asked her if she had yarn or scissors, or like I asked her if she, I forgot, but I asked to borrow something or if she had something. And I knocked, I asked for it, and she was like, hold on, let me see. But like she closed the door in my face. Like I was like standing in her doorway. Like it's not like I was standing, like I was standing in her doorway and she went to close the door. I put my hand out to like stop it, because or else it would hit me. And I didn't like intrude her space. Like I didn't just like walk into her room, but I did stop the door from hitting me. Like I don't know if she like, and I think she wanted to close, like I don't think she wanted me to see her room, but like, homegirl, don't just close the door in my face, like that's rude. So I stopped the door from hitting me and I didn't walk in, but I waited there patiently. But like I was saying, so I sent her a picture of the hair and I was like, hey, I don't remember what I said, but I was just basically like, you have a lot of hair in the drain, please clean it up, or try to clean it up regularly or whatever. Like we would take turns, like alternate clean the bathroom. Like I would do one week, she would do one another week. So that's why I was like waiting to see, like when she cleaned, she would do it herself, but she didn't, and that's why I got frustrated and did it myself. But like her solution to it was she would just buy the drain stuff and like pour it in the drain and like hope for it to like magically go away, and that's not the way it works. Her hair, different than mine, you know, a little bit longer, straight hair. So I mean, not a little bit longer, a lot longer, straight hair, and so it would get wrapped around the drain, and so you would literally have to like pull it out, because just because you pour drain stuff around it, the hair won't flow down the drain if it's wrapped around the drain. Just another thing to add to the list. Amazing. And all of that to say, if you guys remember from the beginning, this video is going a little long, but like, you guys, you see what I mean? Like, I know this is a one-sided story, but like this stuff is insane. But like going back to the beginning of like when I started part 3, when I started, you know, talking about this house, is when I said, like when she made the comment, like after we both went to go view the house, and she made the comment about how the previous renters were like so dirty. on like all of the things she was doing. And this is just a couple of the things that I remember that she did, and there was like other little things along the way. So like it's just like, it was just very annoying all in all and all together. And when I moved out, I wanted to like send her a text message and like be like, yeah, I wasn't gonna say it like this, but basically like she wasn't that great to live with, and she wasn't that clean, and she wasn't that nice. And like, it's not things that she would say to me that were not nice, it was the things that she did. Like, those things are not nice. It's not all about words, it's actions as well, because like I said, she's an introvert, she stayed to herself, so she really didn't talk to me much. But like, actions hold a lot of power, and so I just really wanted to like explain that to her nicely and calmly, by the way. But I chose not to do that, because what good will that do? Like, okay, like I may feel gratification in the moment, but then what if an argument starts, and like what will that solve? There was a moment where she did something, and I don't have, this video is already long, so I'm not gonna tell another story, but she did something, and like I was upset there. She was clearly angry with me, and I'm the type of person who will talk about, not argue, not fight, but like, I mean, in the moment I did want to like yell at her, but like as soon as I knocked on her door and she came out, I didn't yell at her. I just simply spoke to her, just like I'm talking to you guys in this video, spoke to her calmly and like explained the situation, like talked to her about the situation and everything. And I told her, I was like, that wasn't cool, this was my position, and she misunderstood me, and that's why she got mad. And I was like, no, that's not what I said, and that's not what I meant. And next time you need to say that, you know, next time you need to talk and use your words. And like, it was very evident, like only child behavior. And I also want to say, not every only child is like this, but I do notice it's either one side or the other, and she is very much one side. Like, you can tell like she never have been in like these type of situations, like she's always had it like her way. And I don't know, like her parents seem really nice. Like I've met her parents, I've spoken like a little bit with her parents. Like when her mom would see me, she would be like, hi Shahani, like she would literally like talk to me, rather like her daughter didn't. Like cleanling, like the way she would like clean the kitchen and clean the bathroom, like I said, like she really wouldn't clean the kitchen either. She would just like, she would wash her dishes, but like she wouldn't sweep the kitchen, she wouldn't mop the kitchen, she rarely cleaned the countertops. Like, she's the same age as I am. She is living in an apartment. I feel like she should have taken responsibility. Like, she should have like acted and fulfilled the role. And like at one point I wanted to like say to her, like, do you want like a chore chart? Like, but like yet again, like, one, I wasn't gonna be that petty. Two, we're too old for that. We're too old for a chore chart. Like, you should know this. But yeah, that was my little rant, that was my little story time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching my video. Like, comment, subscribe. I never say that because I think it's so cringy, but thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.